Okay, it is time for Swagoo Says, where we hear things that other people say, and then Swagoo tells you what they really meant to say. And it starts in Cleveland. The Titans destroyed the Browns on Sunday. And after the game, here's what Delanie Walker had to say about the Browns.
They were who we thought they were. If you want to crown them, crown them. They still got to play football. And today we showed we play better football.
So that's what Delanie Walker says. What does Swagoo say?
We want all the smoke when the Cleveland Browns walk into our stadium, because guys around television, we've heard from Baker, we've heard how good this offense is going to be, this defense is going to be. We want smoke, because in the NFL, it's about the lines. What do you do in between the lines? Not the names, not the diva receivers, not the quarterback that talks about everybody other than himself, between the lines.
So you're saying that there's going to be a lot of other guys out there, teams out there,
every week,
laying in wait,
every week
for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, every week.
Next, let's get to the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. He was asked after an incredibly impressive Week 1 performance if it was easy picking apart the Giants. Here's what he said:
"It's the NFL. Nothing's easy. I will say it felt like a well-oiled machine, though. I talked about it last night to the offense when." We've got so many great players on that offense. Whatever 11's out there, when you handle your one job and trust the other 10 guys are going to do that, that's what happens. You are a well-oiled machine, and you're able to just go and go and go, and it doesn't matter if it's 1st and 10 or if it's 3rd and 10 or if it's 3rd and 8. It doesn't matter.
That is what Dak had to say. What does Swagoo have to say?
Hell yeah, it was easy. And you saw the game. That's what Dak is saying. Yeah, we're a well-oiled machine. We believe in Kellen Moore. But it was easy. I was throwing receivers that were 5 yards open. That doesn't happen in the NFL. I'm Dak Prescott. I'm about to get paid. Kellen Moore is a boy wonder. It was definitely easy.
Just how good is this Dallas team? Or at least, let me ask the question a different way. What can we tell based upon the Giants? Because I think one of the things we learned this week is the Giants' defense is who we thought they were.
They can give it to you multiple ways, and that creates a different scheme for the Cowboys that they hadn't had. Look, before Amari came, we talked about can Dak throw. Now you create weapons. Amari is opening up the field. Jason Witten coming back, to me, meant more about how they would function and operate more than his particular production. This team has everything you need in order to win games. And not to mention the thing that we don't talk about because we enamored with stars, this offensive line are absolute beast.
No question. So the Cowboys off to a very good start. That's what Swagoo says. Now let's find out what Paul has to say. Paul Finebaum's with us this morning, and we're going to start with Michigan. A 22.5-point favorite last week, almost lost to Army. Wound up winning in double overtime, would have been their first loss against a service academy since 1967. So Michigan wins the game, but there may be concern on the part of many, including myself, about how they will perform against some of the better teams in the Big Ten. Of course, they struggled a little bit Week 1 in a situation they shouldn't have. Last weekend, they need double overtime. How concerned is Paul Finebaum about Michigan?
Well, you have to be concerned, Greedy, but I'm not writing them off yet because of what happened last year. Army took Oklahoma to overtime. Oklahoma made it to the playoffs. Of course, they also had Kyler Murray. Michigan does not in Shea Patterson. I think the problem at Michigan is Jim Harbaugh just needs to back up and let his offensive coordinator, Gaddis, run the offense. And until that happens, they are going to continue to struggle.
It has been a tough start for Harbaugh here, again, in a season in which it feels like all of the marbles are sitting in his corner, right? Like this feels like if a not now, when kind of year for Jim Harbaugh.
No doubt. And without Urban Meyer, you look at Ohio State, they don't look any different. In fact, they looked really good with Justin Fields. I mean, you can make the comparisons to Haskins, but he is unbelievable right now. So the only thing Harbaugh has in his favor is that Ohio State comes to Ann Arbor, but before then, he's got to deal with Wisconsin in a couple of weeks. He has Notre Dame. I mean, the path is not easy. I'm not writing them off, but they lose to Wisconsin or Notre Dame, people are going to pile on Jim Harbaugh, and with justification.
And then that brings us, speaking of piling on, to your alma mater. I've been waiting for this all week. Tennessee blew a second-half double-digit lead to BYU and ultimately lost their football game in double overtime. The Volunteers are 0-2 for the first time since 1988. And head coach Jeremy Pruitt had this to say to the Knoxville Quarterback Club on Monday, comparing the program to the Titanic. He said, quote, "I think Titanic came out maybe when I was in college. When the boat starts going down, remember all those mice running to the top? We have had a few that's left our program. But you will figure out who wants to be a Tennessee Vol and who doesn't." So that's what Jeremy Pruitt had to say. Paul, what do you have to say about the mice running on the Titanic?
Mice and men. I always thought rats went to the top of the ship. It could have been worse. He could have said we acted like we were in Hangover 2. But they looked that drunk. They really did. Jeremy Pruitt is off to just a miserable start. Remember how he got the job, though. The former athletic director was on his 7th turn down when he got fired when he wanted to bring Mike Leach in. So Philip Fulmer took over, and Pruitt at best was the 8th choice. So sometimes you get what you pay for. I thought he would be a better coach. He may still, but right now he is off to a miserable start.
And so give me a sense, should the expectation just be ratcheted down? We know in your part of the country, people have high expectations even when they seem unrealistic. And we know what the history is, but the history is a long time ago at Tennessee, Paul. Do they need to change the expectations for this program?
What they need to do is quit firing coaches every couple of years. Remember, Lane Kiffin was in there. He was replaced by Derek Dooley and then Butch Jones. They changed.
He left on his own, right? The Kiffin thing was a little
went
different.
to SC.
Right, that's what I mean. They didn't fire him.
No, but the next 3 were gone. Right. Tennessee is not Alabama. They're not Georgia. They're not even Florida.
But they want to be, right?
They once were. And the question is, will they ever be again?
And what's the answer?
I'm not sure. I don't think they will.
Not in the foreseeable future.
Not anytime soon.
And will it be with this coach? You're standing by him?
It's hard to believe it will be.
All right, there's Paul Finebaum. He's got the very latest on all of this and an interesting little moment in the college football season. Meanwhile, to baseball. Elle.
Yeah, Greeny, let's run the bases through specifically the American League. There's officially going to be a new winner of the AL East this season. Red Sox eliminated from contention for the division crowd after their 5-0 home loss to the Yankees last night. That was kind of a foregone conclusion. But the Yankees' 14 wins over the Red Sox this year are the most over Boston in the divisional era. That is since 1969. How about the Stros? They followed up Sunday's 21-run outburst with another 15 runs last night and a 15-0 shutout of the A's. Houston hit 7 home runs on the night, jumped out to an 11-0 lead after just 2 innings. The Astros' plus 35 run differential over the last 2 games is the 4th best 2-game span in the modern era. And how about the Indians gaining some ground on Oakland in the wild card chase after their 6-2 win in Anaheim last night? Strong outing from All-Star MVP Shane Bieber, who was anything but Despacito. We'll let that one breathe for a minute. He fired 7 innings of 1-run ball. The producer's laughing, so win. Here are your AL wildcard standings as we approach postseason baseball. A's lost to the Astros, pulled the Indians to just a half game out of the second wildcard spot in the AL. Keep in mind, you got the Indians 1-6 against the Rays and 1-5 against the A's this season. Potential tiebreakers certainly not on their side. Greeny, I know you loved this. Favorite athlete all time, David Ortiz, and what was just a fantastic moment back at Fenway and throwing out the first pitch for the first time since, of course, that botched assassination attempt in the Dominican Republic. It was great to see him. Absolutely incredible. We wish Poppy all the best. Hey, tomorrow on Get Up, Antonio Brown's first day of practice with the Patriots, we will have a live report from Foxborough plus LSU head coach Ed Orgeron live.